Hello folks, and welcome to another video in which we ask the question, how about we play the beginner's guide? You can see it on screen. The surprise is ruined. Okay, I've made sure to turn on the captions because there is a lot of dialogue in this game. So I know this is a game that is a bit of an older game. It's from 2015. But I will say that I've always wanted to play it. A friend of mine gifted it to me, and I've never actually had the opportunity to have a go of it. I've kind of just ignored it in the library. Don't know why. Lots of other things taking the attention away. But I'm looking forward to it. It has good reviews and apparently a great story. So, although it is an older game, I'm coming to this fresh. I have not seen it before. Okay then, let's begin the game. Oh, I thought we'd crash. It sure is, fella. Okay, makes sense.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable. And while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Okay, interesting concept. I didn't expect that at all. Because again, as I said, I hadn't read anything about this game at all. So from just the title and the icon, I certainly didn't expect to be going through somebody's back catalogue of developed games. But it's a cool concept. I do believe video games have a lot to offer, and that they are a form of art, and at least at the very least a form of expression, just like a movie or a book. And I guess it's interesting maybe to, for once, look at the person behind that rather than the actual content in front of you. So as you heard, there's a lot of narration in this game. I'm not going to be talking over any of that, so that means when that narration is happening, I'm just going to stay quiet. If I have something insightful to add, no doubt I will. I also hope to remember to edit out the silence about 30 seconds ago. And maybe this bit. Okay, onward with the first game. So, holy crap. That frightened the crap out of me. That really did.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda. You can click to fire the gun.
Thank you.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for a fight. Come on, boy.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Fair point. Let's have a look.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Yeah. Cool. I guess I'm used to seeing this more in a Jim Sterling video where somebody's done kind of an asset flip style game. But still, looks good. Where are we going? Nope. Uh-huh.
Apparently the space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, thank you, Davey. I like our narrator.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Okay.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Well, I mean, I never met these people. I don't even know who the enemies are. The hostile force? That could be nice, but, yeah. For the purposes of moving it on. Splat!
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Okay, let's see this bug. Yes. Classic bug.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay, November 2008. So this is interesting. It has a story. I don't think I've experienced anything quite like this. Let's see where they're going to go with this. Okay.
So try walking backwards.
I can't move, so try walking backwards. Yep.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Come on. Okay. Okay, well, lucky I'm good at reversing, so let's see. This way. Okay. Keep going this way. Oh, we've hit a wall.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Okay, Davey, I think you might be stretching walking backwards a little bit there. Walking backwards with writing on the wall. I mean, I can appreciate modern art, but... This is walking backwards. Oh, we've gone the wrong way. Bugger. Shit. This way. This way. And she stops and looks. Oh, we have a stairway. It becomes clearer. If I stop and look, it will become clearer. No. It ain't. Okay, let's go. Up the stairs. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Okay, well, it works because it gets out quick. Yep, walking backwards, it definitely got out quick. For sure. Thankfully. Now, please don't become a jump scare game. Come on. Because I ain't no pootie pie. I'm not going to be, screaming. Stefano! Okay, well. You are now entering. I give it the benefit of the doubt that it's not a silly jump scare game. This seems smarter than that. Or suddenly becomes a horror game. That would suck so much. Okay.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
We shall trust you, Davey.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Okay,
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it.
Wow.
Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
This is really cool. I love the aesthetic here of the simple grey buildings. Something really cool about it. Also the noise of the wind in the background as well. You think of AAA games, or very expensive games with lots of assets and highly produced graphics. But this one with a simple grey tone and a sky and some wind creates a hell of a lot of atmosphere. Atmosphere in a good way, where I feel like that it's, you know, I'm going to say it again, a bit smarter than a jump scare game. I hope so. The reason I keep saying it is because so many games, and even movies I guess as well, start off really cool but then just cannot keep up the atmosphere and the pace. It's very difficult. I don't know an example. Oh, I just watched a Robert Altman film, Nashville. There you go. There's an example of a movie that keeps its pace and story and feeling.
I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here. Sorry.
Oh, thanks, Davey. That type of film is able to keep the story going. So let's see what happens here. I guess this is where we're going. It's obvious. Okay, we're slowing down. Voice is rising. And
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay, so press E. Yep, and now we'll find out. I always want to kind of... I feel like in games like this, there a little bit of exploration is needed, that there's maybe something extra hidden. And I'll see it later on a YouTube channel and be like, why didn't you just check? Oh. Huh. Oh, how cool is this? I pressed U, it did nothing.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games. Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.